Hello, hello. Welcome back to Unlicensed
Hello.
and Unbothered. It's Friday, which means another Am I the Drama? Quick update before we get into today's story. So, do you guys remember when I went to Zanzibar?
hmm
Right.
It was like
So,
last month.
yeah, and
It was last month.
I had gone to the salon because I was like, okay, I want to get a bit pampered. I'm going to get my hair washed. I'm on holiday. I've had a long day. So I had gone to a massage before that, and I'd gone to this, five-star resort. It was
hmm
really, really nice. And I asked them, are there any good salons nearby? And they recommended this one. And, I called her up. I asked her, I reiterated the fact that I've got straight hair, I've got long hair, I don't have um curly hair, I can't handle certain types of shampoos because I've just got straight hair, but I'm not really picky
Yeah.
about that. And she
Mhm.
reassured me, she was like, no, of course I can do it, blah, blah, blah. And it was like a good amount of money. It was like something dollars, but it was a good amount of money, right? So I go there. I kid you not. It's a hut. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. It's Africa, it's fine. Maybe it's aesthetic. She did not have a single hairbrush. She didn't have an actual area to wash my hair. Okay, whatever. I was stuck in an uncomfortable position, whatever. She starts drying my hair. It's been an hour and a half by then. I ask her, right, babe, do you have a hairbrush? Can you actually start blow drying my hair? My hair was practically wet at that point, right? It should have air dried by then. I don't even know what was in that water. But um she's like, oh my God, so sorry. I don't have a hairbrush. I just opened up. I was like, you don't have a hairbrush? You're blow drying my hair. You're taking money for a blow dry. What? Anyways, she did not dry my hair. She put some stuff in my hair. She put relaxer in my hair. Mind you, I have straight hair. I've never dyed my hair. There's no chemical damage, nothing at all. So,
Mm-mm.
uh, my hair was screwed. Anyways, I came back to Dubai. I was crying for over a month, but I've been in recovery mode ever since then. So I've tried every single treatment under the sun, and I can finally say my hair's doing a lot better. So now I think we're gonna celebrate that little win. Woohoo!
Honestly, finally, because her hair has officially survived the trauma. I think didn't she put like relaxer in your hair or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, yeah. She put relaxer and then she put this like concoction and she was like, oh, it's really good for your hair. Except she didn't tell me
Oh
afterwards.
my
And that
gosh.
concoction was some hard gel that they use when they're braiding your hair.
Yeah. I I don't even know what to say to that. But honestly, now it's my turn. So unfortunately, I've I have curly hair.
Hmm.
I've dyed my hair and I'm currently getting my curls back because when you do color your curls kind of die. Unfortunately, I've been using this shampoo and conditioner that has been ruining my hair recently. I just started using those two because they were very easy to pick up, but it's kind of been ruining my hair. But now like looking into getting a new treatment plan. So both Steve and I have been basically been doing late night research sessions, like comparing serums, masks, and like
Hmm.
leave-in conditioners and everything. And basically, guys, I think we're about to write a thesis on it because it's so fucking detailed. Like our notes app, full of like pros and
Real,
cons.
real. Right. I genuinely, I swear this podcast can turn into some hair care diary. But don't worry.
Exactly.
Don't worry, we're not changing the name, we're not changing the theme, and we've got a story that's a lot more serious today.
Exactly, yeah. So this one's kind of layered.
Mhm.
It's not the classic am I the drama dynamic. It's about a parent whose daughter who was touched inappropriately at school. But instead of people stepping up to protect this little girl like they're supposed to, the whole situation spiraled into conflict with the principal and another student's family, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it brings up so many bigger issues, right? Whether it's consent or boundaries, victim blaming maybe, and literally the way the school's
Mhm.
either handling it, trying to, or completely failing at handling these situations.
Exactly. And on top of that, there's this ableism factor, which makes everything even more complicated. And this Reddit post is definitely one of the tougher ones we have covered so far.
Yeah, so let's get into it. But before we read the post, think about this, right? So if this was your kid, what would you
Mm-hmm.
do? Would you tell
Mm-hmm.
them to stand up for themselves no matter what? Or would you try to keep the peace with the school? Let us know because I feel like this one's quite tricky.
It
So,
is kind of tricky.
yeah. So, the first post was on August 11th, 2025. So, very, very recently, right?
Very recent.
So, her family consists of, sorry, his family consists of him, 32 male, his husband, 35 male, and his adopted daughter, 14F, Kayla. Right. So Kayla's got autism. She's partially nonverbal and has extreme sensory issues. She goes to public school with a decent special education program. She's in a class separate from all of her other students with multiple teachers. She's really happy and gets along with most of the kids. The class is allowed to join one of the general population gym classes. I was really worried about this at first, but this class is actually really nice to the special ed kids.
Mhm.
All the kids are really nice and sweet, except for this one boy, Josh, who's 16. He's got Down syndrome. His mum's the kind of mum that I can't stand. She doesn't enforce any rules on her son. She never corrects his behavior or tells him no. Right. Before we continue, I just want to speak about
Mhm.
this a little. Do
Mhm.
you know how
I
normal
know.
it is that a lot of these, parents that have children that have special needs, differently abled, they either maybe have like caregiver burnout, or they feel so
Some of
much pity for
them
their child, so they never ever
exactly
correct them and teach
correct
them
them,
right from wrong.
which is wrong from a psychological point of view. Psychologists want you to give, like, tell them what's right and wrong. Because at the end of the day, that is your child. They are still human. They need to know what's right and wrong. And Down syndrome, there's a spectrum. Um, so a lot of them, right, need to know what and what not to do because
Hmm.
they will go into this world without you at some point. And a lot of them do. I hate when parents shelter kids who have either autism, Down syndrome on the spectrum, or with special needs because it's not like a lot of psychologists say to treat them like a normal person, even though they might have some medical needs and some other needs, they're still human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm sound like, but I'm trying to get my thoughts together. And to be honest, they also want to be treated as human because recently I watched this video. It was lovely people with Down syndrome saying that they want to be treated like a normal human being and not with someone like a disease, as a lot of people say, because people believe that Down syndrome is a disease. It is not, by the way. It is not a disease. I will go into like the definition later, but it is not. A lot of them just want to be treated equally as people without a Down syndrome that are neurotypical, and they want to be treated the same. They want to go out drinking. They want to live life. They want to be able on their own, and many of them are able to do that. If you watch, what is that, Love on the Spectrum, that
Yeah.
is a great show. Please go watch it because it shows how, yes, some of them are living with their parents, but I think it was Tanner, right? He is on the spectrum with autism, but he lives with two of his roommates who have Down syndrome, and they live a normal life. It basically shows that they can be they can be normal, even though
Hmm.
they're a little different. Most of them are probably smarter because they just think differently. They think in a creative way. their minds are so creative, and they're
Yeah.
the funniest humans ever. They
They're
are
so
amazing.
cool.
They are so fucking cool and caring. I love them so much because once, right, I was in the park and this little kid came up to me, and obviously he had Down syndrome. We had the best talk about cars. I knew nothing about cars as much as he did, and we were just talking and talking about cars and then about fire trucks. They
Hmm.
want to be treated as normal, and a lot of parents want their kids to be treated as normal, but there's also parents who think, no, we need to shelter them. And that's where everything goes wrong, because then they start not knowing what boundaries are. And it's honestly, I do not blame them, I blame the parents. But sorry, before I go off on this rant, Diva, please continue.
Okay, so Josh is an amino-violent kid. The problem is that this boy has no concept of boundaries or consent. He's very physically affectionate. My daughter doesn't like being touched at all unless she specifically asks for it. Completely normal. No one likes being touched without their consent. He's always
Exactly.
grabbing her, tickling, hugging, pinning her down and to cuddle. She tells him no politely, but that just makes him upset, and he tries harder to touch her. The teachers have to constantly stop him. Last Friday, I got a call from the principal wanting to have a meeting after school. Kayla was in trouble for hitting a boy in her class. She was in the office. The principal gave a whole speech about how violence is unacceptable, etc., etc. I asked her what happened. So they went gym class for free day, and Kayla was jogging laps around the gym. Joshua was off to the side with a group of girls playing tickle tag. I have no clue what that is. As Kayla was passing by, she felt
Okay.
hands on her butt. She spun around and slapped him across the face. Josh fell to the floor, started loudly crying. He wanted Kayla to join them playing, but instead of asking her, he just ran up behind her and tickled her butt. Ew. I felt so bad for my little girl. She was so upset. I assumed the punishment would be dropped, but the
Mm-hmm.
principal wanted a week of detention. I was floored. She thought that she was being groped. It was self defense. The principal said
Mm-hmm.
that Josh wasn't sexually harassing her. He was just playing. Even if he was, violence isn't of any kind isn't tolerated. I asked if Josh
Mm-hmm.
would be punished for touching my daughter's butt, and he said no, he has Downs and he doesn't know any better. I unloaded on the principal. Are you going to let him graduate and send him out into the world as an adult thinking it's okay to sneak up behind girls and touch them? He needs to learn that behavior isn't okay. The principal kept that same stupid excuse. I stormed out and took Kayla out for pizza. Josh's mom was blowing up my phone the whole time, but I ignored her. My husband agreed that Josh's behavior was inappropriate and her reaction was reasonable, but that maybe Kayla should apologize to Josh for hitting him since he doesn't know why he got hit. One, okay. Before I continue, just really quick.
Yeah.
One is they both have uh special needs, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
father says. So he's not any special, right? He's not any no, sorry, he's not any different than her,
Yeah.
right? They just have different, you know, things
They have
that they're
different
working.
needs. They have
Yeah.
different needs. They're both on different parts of the spectrum.
Yeah.
It's
But
completely
Noah,
normal.
Noah, can I just point out this, right? Okay. So I have seen this trend my whole life, and so has any other woman. So primary school, you get told, oh, he's being mean to you or he's bullying you because he likes you. Middle
Because he likes
school,
you.
oh, he's just going through puberty. He's got big feelings. He doesn't know any better. High school, oh, boys will be boys. Uh, he doesn't know any better. He's still young. He's got a lot to learn. He's still not, a
Exactly.
fully proper
Mm.
man yet. Adulthood.
Every
Adulthood,
girl knows
yeah.
this.
Finally, adulthood. Whereas, um, oh, girls are just crazy. Girls just make it up. Maybe
Oh,
he's not even done it.
she was wearing something that was very
Yeah.
tempting. She
Men
was just
men
wearing a
are
shirt and this.
animals. Men have these animalistic instincts, they're men. This is the masculine blah 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 in them. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. And
Nah.
I know, you know what, Nuha? More than men actually saying this, most women say this. Women who have male children.
Male children.
I
Male children. But yeah, an example of this. So this has This is something to do with my little sister and her friend.
Uh-huh.
Actually, her class. So the boys in high school, they're crazy. I think this happened in middle school or the first year of high school. Yeah, first year of high school. So Safa came up to me. She's like, Nuha, the guys are rating me. And I got an 8 out of 10. And I'm like, oh, rating with what? Because there has been a trend around the US where men are like rating how rapeable women are. Disgusting. We'll go on to this in a different subject. So I was like, I was on alert. I'm like, oh, on what? She's like, oh, on how pretty we are and like our crush and stuff. I'm like, I calmed down. I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. A few days passed by. I got a call from my little sister, and then her friend was on the call as well. And they both looked, her friend, right, looked like she was just done crying or is crying. And my sister looked distraught. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? And I'm like, and she was like, Nuha, do you remember when we said the boys were rating us? I'm like, yeah. What? You said that they were rating on you how like pretty you are and how like if they would take you on a date or whatever, like if they would date you. And they're like, no. She said, no. It's about how rapeable we are. Heart dropped. I was mad. I got chills. I was in disgust. My sister was begging me not to tell my dad, but I immediately told my dad. He took action because I was disgusted. What the hell? Who gives the permission? Why? Why? Right? And then, obviously, the boys got in trouble. Parents got involved. And I was like, Safa, tell me what's happening. And I told my dad, Dad, what's happening? The boys didn't get in trouble because they have potential in life. And this will ruin their chance to go into university if it's put. I wanted them expelled. A lawsuit was easily going to be open. My dad was very close, but the school stopped him. I think something happened and it was just brushed under the sun. I still think about it because I remember, Diva remembers, I literally started crying.
Oh yeah.
Angry tears.
I was fucking disgusted. Like, oh.
And the issue was I was in Canada and Diva was in Dubai. I was like, Diva, like, sorry, check on my sister, like check if she's okay, right? I was literally asking Diva to check on my sister. And then, right, because my little sister, she's very strong-minded. Nothing can fuck her over. Like, she takes bullying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Diva knows who my sister is. She, like, nothing can fuck her over. This rattled her. Yeah. Oh my gosh. She scares the living shit of us.
She scares us,
we,
bro.
she looked so rattled. And I'm like, it's gonna be okay. And the thing is, but the guys walked free. Because it will ruin their reputation. They have futures.
Because, oh my god,
like my sister
exactly.
doesn't. Like the girls don't. And my sister was rated very high. I'm glad you know what my sister told me? That honesty was amazing. The guys got jumped. Not only by the girls, but also by other guys. They all got jumped. And what's it called? One of the guys, he has a sister.
I love that.
In a year or two above, she literally came down and slapped the living fuck out of him, and like was yelling at him and made him apologize to every single girl in his little group. Like Diva knows these people. You know, remember I showed you that their TikTok account? She doesn't remember. Yeah, I'll show you later, dumbass.
No, I don't. Okay. I love how you can tell.
He's a pause.
Yeah.
But okay, continue.
Okay, let me continue. Okay. August 12th, 2025. Didn't expect my first post to get nearly blah 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 blah. Just people were talking about, you know, how people would development
Developmental disabilities,
people with
mashallah.
disabilities aren't taught. Yes. That aren't taught boundaries or consent and go on to commit they could go on to commit sexual assault. This honestly has me terrified for the safety of my daughter and the other kids in the class. What if he's touched other kids inappropriately before? What if he's done worse? Kayla's got a level of mental development to recognize what Josh did was wrong, but I don't know if the other kids in the class would. I showed my husband the post and he read the comments and I could see the color drain from his face. He felt awful for suggesting she should apologize to him. We talked for a long time and decided what to do. Good. Fucking good. Okay. First, we sat her down and we had a long talk about boundaries, bodily autonomy, and consent. We reassured her that protecting herself was the absolute right thing to do. No one should ever touch her like that without her permission. She cried and hugged us a lot. We gave her full permission to stop being polite to Josh. He has had enough polite refusals. If he keeps this up, raise her voice, get aggressive and yell at him and shove him away. That's what she should do. It doesn't matter if he cries, she needs to protect herself. And if he gets aggressive or touches her somewhere inappropriate again, she has our full permission to hit him. Sometimes it's better to be safe than polite. Absolutely, completely agree. If you know,
I'm teaching my girl how
your
to fight.
boys won't
Literally,
act right, we'll teach our
my
girls how
dad's
to
one
fight.
thing
That easy.
is he
Right.
put us to every martial arts thing because he's like, knew how boys, not men, boys in this world are. He also calls them boys. He doesn't like because in my dad's definition, a man knows how to respect women, his parents, other people. He's a respectable human being. Boys don't know how to treat other people, will just be a bitch and will act like a child even when they're like 50 and 40 and they don't know responsibilities and they don't know the answer no, while a man does know what a word no means and what a gentleman is. That's what my dad defines as a man and a boy, and he has engraved that in my mind. But yeah, sorry, Diva.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, no. So, we're going to take the advice of many people in the comments. We're filing a police report for sexual harassment and assault against Josh and going above the principal to the superintendent and the school board. I'm going to assume it's America then. Depending on how those meetings go, we might consult a lawyer. I'm going to do everything to protect my daughter. Update 2, August 9, 2025. I know a lot of people have been waiting for an update on the situation. Quite a few things happened. There was another incident in school with my daughter Kayla and Josh. Tried to hug her when she didn't want to be. And instead of being polite, she was assertive like I told her to be. She sternly told him no, and when he kept trying, she pushed him away. Josh actually picked her up by her waist to try and force her to hug him. She bit him hard enough to draw blood. I'm so proud of my little girl, and so are we. The principal suspended her after that. While she was out of school for the rest of the week, the police and CPS got involved because of my police report, and the school board took action about my complaints. The principal has been suspended and pending investigation, and an interim principal is in place. I already like him. The first thing he did was have a meeting with me and Kayla. He was calm, reassuring, and agrees that the behavior of Josh and the previous principal were absolutely unacceptable. Josh is suspended indefinitely while the police and CPS investigation is going on, and Kayla is back in school. She's been much happier at school without having to deal with Josh. She's been eager and excited to go to school. I've contacted a lawyer and we're talking about if we have a case to sue the old principal. We're just in the beginning stages, but things seem to be going good. She's a cousin of a friend, so she's taking our case pro bono. Thank you so much for helping me find the correct path forward. Fingers crossed everything goes well. I just want to add the fact that I don't think they should sue the mum, but I do think they should implement the fact that she should take some parental classes.
Or even
some classes on how to go about handling a child with special needs.
A child psychologist with them. Go talk to your child psychologist because she's probably telling you not to set boundaries and stuff, but the mother's not listening, which is a case with everything. So before I continue, I'm going to define Down syndrome and autism because I also want you guys to learn because being educated in 2025 is hot. Ew. But yeah, I don't like the way I said that. But
Mhm.
okay. So Down syndrome, it's a genetic condition, not a disease. A genetic condition which is caused by the persistence of an extra copy of
Mhm.
chromosome 21 called trisomy 21. So it affects a person's physical development, intellectual abilities, and sometimes even health, unfortunately. So people with Down syndrome often have a distinct physical feature like almond-shaped eyes, a flatter face than other people, and a very shorter structure. And they also may experience mild to moderate development delays. It's very important to note that just like autism, Down syndrome does exist on a spectrum, meaning abilities, personalities, and challenges vary widely from person to person. With the right support, many people with Down syndrome lead fulfilling, independent lives, even form relationships with others, have good work relationships, and contribute to their communities, which is really good. A lot of people can do it. So with autism, so it's a developmental condition that affects communication, sensory processing, and social interactions. So many autistic people have heightened sensory sensitivities and unique ways of communicating, which means respecting their boundaries is especially important. Being touched without consent can be incredibly overwhelming and very distressing for them, even more so than for neurotypical peers. So, again, they are on a spectrum, meaning every autistic person experiences is different. Some are highly verbal and social, and others are partially or fully verbal, nonverbal, sorry. And they might have very unique sensory needs, honestly. And what feels like just a touch to someone else can feel very extremely overwhelming, even painful or violating to an autistic person. It depending on their sensitivities. And that's why respecting boundaries is so crucial. Each person's reactions and needs are different. So, with that in mind, I just want to say how proud I am of you for standing up for your daughter. You're teaching Kayla such an important lesson that her body belongs to her and no one else, regarding of their circumstance, and has the right to violate her boundaries. Too often, kids, especially girls, and especially those with disabilities, are told to be nice or to be understanding even when their safety or comfort is at stake, unfortunately. So you are showing her that her voice matters, and that's something she'll carry with life. And it sounds like you're handling this in a very balanced way, giving Kayla tools to protect herself while also holding the school accountable for their failures. And it's it isn't about demonizing Josh, okay? Because it's clear that he isn't malicious, but his lack of understanding of boundaries and consent is still very serious. Because, say it with me now. Say it with me, because this is the most important thing I will say, okay? Disabilities don't erase responsibility. For the people in the back, disabilities don't erase responsibility. Diva, do you want to say it with me?
Mhm.
Disabilities don't erase. You are so
Disability
bad. You're
don't
so bad.
erase responsibility.
Okay, but I'll say it again for that, Diva. Disabilities don't erase responsibility. Engrave that into your mind. Everyone says that, even psychologists, even my psychiatrist says that, right? They just mean adults and caregivers have to work harder to teach them appropriate behavior. So allowing him to keep hugging, grabbing, or touching others without correction doesn't just put Kayla at risk, but it also puts Josh at risk too. If he isn't taught now, he could face consequences later as he grows into adulthood. Because in his mind, he doesn't know that it's wrong. He still thinks it's correct. So if you don't tell him, hey, it's wrong, you're not supposed to do this, and if you keep telling others or even him, he doesn't know any better.
Mhm.
it will no longer be an excuse when he is old, when he's an adult, right? In a way, holding him accountable is protecting both him
Yeah.
and the people around him, you know? That's why I think you are handling it very well. You are protecting Kayla. You are affirming her rights to defend herself. And you're also calling out the failure of the adults and like everyone. And
You have called out your own
exactly,
husband, and I think that means a lot because I feel like a lot of the times
exactly.
we don't
That's
hold the
really good.
people
And
closest to
like
us responsible.
you holding the adults accountable around Josh, who should be teaching him what's right and what's wrong. Because at the end of the day, he's still a kid. He listens to his parents. Even though it'll be a little harder to teach him,
Yeah.
they still understand. They will still understand. It might take a little longer, and that is okay. Just try to teach him because it will help him in the future, you know? And it's not about demonizing him. It's about ensuring he learns that so he doesn't keep crossing lines and hurting others. And sometimes he might go do it when
Yeah.
he's an adult. He'd probably go do it to someone. He might get knocked out. I'm so sorry. The world is a dangerous, disgusting place. A lot of people do not care. Unfortunately, do not care. And they will just assume that he has to know
Yeah.
because obviously he's an adult. Because a lot of people, again, again, they know that disabilities don't erase responsibilities. Because unfortunately, there are cases that a lot of this is so unfortunate, and I blame the parents. I blame the parents. I will always blame the parents. They are Down syndrome, and
Mhm.
because I saw this case long time ago, but he obviously knew what he was doing, but he was excusing his Down syndrome, like, oh, I didn't know, I thought this was normal. But when he did a second valve, he was fully functioning because obviously Down syndrome has a spectrum, and a lot of people take advantage of it because at the end of the day, boys will take advantage of anything that can get them a pass of hurting someone else. It it doesn't matter if they're neurotypical
Mhm.
or neurodivergent. A man will always find a way to hurt someone, and it sucks. It's annoying. So please don't let anyone make you or Kayla feel guilty because she does not need to be guilty. Very proud of her for honestly, I want to know how she stops. I need a fucking like tutorial because if I read her, it said that her slap sent him to the ground. I need to know how strong her
Real.
slap is because I'm gonna slap some people and I want them to go on the ground. But yeah, so she did exactly what she needed to do in this moment, and you're doing exactly what you should now, making sure she's safe, heard, and supported. And this is good parenting. This is good parenting. So people who are listening, learn from him, please. Do you need anything to add, Deepa, or did I
Yeah.
say everything? Sorry,
Um,
I'm very passionate
no, I think
about
you've
this
actually
because
covered everything.
I have a soft spot with kids with who are neurodivergent and on the spectrum and stuff. I do have a soft spot for them, but I also know not to hold them accountable for stuff. We even learned that in psychology. We even learned that in uni in classes that some of them use it as an advantage. We professors literally teach us this, so we have to to be careful and stuff. So I'm saying treat them with kindness because at the end of the day, they are human. They are human, and they are wonderful beings. They are amazing, amazing, caring people. They are so nice. When I have had
Yeah.
so many interactions with them and they've all been good, thankfully. I literally had a girl come up to me and she's like, "I love your hair. Can I touch it?" And it was just it was really cute. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening. And hopefully
Hmm.
you enjoyed this and my little rant and education that I was trying to give you. But just before you leave, do you have any drama? Decisions that you might regret? Situationships that make zero sense? Please tap the link in our bio and submit so you asked for this. We will roast you with love. We will tell you if you're right or wrong, give you advice, and do many more. So, yeah, we gave you drama, delusion, and bad advice.
Craving more? Good. You know where to find us. Consider this your new addiction. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Mwah.